All right, we got one advertisement here. And, of course, I'm reading this advertisement well after I did the whole fucking interview with the wonderful Adler family. I'm in San Jose right now. Oh, boop, 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 MeUndies. MeUndies, San Jose, California. Boop, 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 MeUndies, MeUndies. You won't get a hernia. 'Cause those things will hold your balls nice and tight against your taint. Put 'em on, it'll feel like velvet. You won't need to get a hand job because your underwear is like a fucking hot chick's hand. That's fucking gross. Sorry, whatever. MeUndies. Hey, everybody, if you want to elevate your underwear, game to the next level, I mean, what level are you at? You got shit stains in your drawers? I don't know where the fuck you're at. You can elevate it with MeUndies, and the fucking screen just stopped. Didn't stop. Now I got to type in my fucking password. This is just not the way to do this. You've perfected your wardrobe, but what about the stuff not everybody gets to see? If you've been settling for store-bought underwear 5-packs, I have something that will change your life for the better. Fucking MeUndies. What's the first thing you put on and take? What's the first thing you put on and the last thing you take off? I don't want to know. I don't want to know you like that. All right? Fucking keep your own goddamn taking off and putting on a clothes to yourself. All right? You oversharing cunt, millennial. It's your underwear. Make your most important piece of clothing the best it can be with MeUndies. What is MeUndies? It's fucking underwear if you haven't figured it out. It's just seriously soft, feel-good undies delivered right to your door by some fucking weirdo. What kind of man wants to go around delivering soft, fucking feeling underwear? Looking that other guy in the eye. Here you go. MeUndies are designed in L.A. and made from sustainable source modal. A fabric 3 times softer than cotton. MeUndies, softer than soft, luxury underwear come in an ever-changing selection of classic colors, bold shades that you can put on your balls, and it'll be a safe place for your nuts. And guess what? You can save time and money each month with a monthly subscription. And if you're not ready for a subscription, that's no fucking problem. You can still save. That's because MeUndies is offering 20% off your first pair. Just use my special URL, MeUndies.com/Burr, and get 20% off your first pair. So go ahead, revamp your underwear drawer. You deserve it. Once again, that's MeUndies.com/Burr, MeUndies.com/Burr. Now back to the Steven Adler interview. Hey, what's going on? It's Bill Burr, and it's time for a very special Monday morning podcast. Every once in a while, I have the special ones. It's not me just in my jams, running my yap in my old piece of shit house that has a lot of character. Speaking of characters, we got some characters in here today. We have selling her new book here that's out. Steven Adler, drummer, rock star extraordinaire. Her new book called "Sweet Child of Mine." Because I want to make sure I don't
now,
screw this up.
Now wait a minute.
You should know this.
Book.
Huh?
It's not Steven Adler's book.
Deanna Adler's book.
I
got him interrupted. All right. Steven Adler's here. His brother Jamie's here. Deanna's here. I feel like I went over their house for Thanksgiving. They've come over here. It's just going to be. It's going to be a fun show. This is going to remind me of going home for the holidays. So I'm sorry. Deanna Adler's new book, "Sweet Child of Mine," which is basically her story of having.
It's a story of unconditional love between a mother and a son. And not only that, it's a story about how many mistakes a mother can make in her relationship with her son. And believe me, I made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah,
a lot.
Well, I'll count them off for you if you like.
This is the first time I've ever heard her admit to that.
It's true.
See,
oh, God, this is becoming like Dr. Phil here. You guys, let's bring some tissues over here in a minute.
He did. Brenton did.
I got, believe it or not, my podcast listeners know I'm a terrible reader. I can't read out loud. I'm really bad. And I just got the book yesterday. I just got off the road.
I can't sing, so it's okay.
There you go. So I got all the way up to about page 75 of the book, and it's incredible just what, I mean, I can't wait for the next 100. I'm not saying I'm stopping. That's just as far as I got because I read slow. But
that's good, though.
But two things, like your there you go. The first mom hit is Steven. All right.
First slap of the day.
There you go.
The second.
It was in the arm, though. That's a misdemeanor. She slapped you
works
in the
its
head.
way up. It goes from the hand, the arm, the shoulder, the face, the head.
Were you because my mother hit us when we were kids. I mean, that was just, you spanked and then you moved up to the paddle, wooden spoon. Were you one of those?
The wooden spoon.
Wooden spoon.
I know all about the wooden spoon.
All right, let me ask you this, Stephen. Your preference as a child, was it the wooden spoon, the random blunt object? You ever get the hairbrush? I got that.
The hairbrush a couple of times. Of course, the random object thrown through the air, hitting the head. Yeah, that's what I said. See, you're bald and you got a beautiful head, so you look really good. You're a very handsome guy. Me, my head is lumpy.
And you did the Bosley,
I don't
huh?
have a good bald head.
So that's the thing, is you're going bald, you're praying. You're like, uh-oh,
No,
what's
I went to
underneath
Bosley.
there? You went to Bosley.
Fuck that, I'm going to Bosley.
Do a lot of rock stars, they've got it.
Of course, dude, you know how many movie stars, rock stars? Dude, it's the 21st century.
No, it just killed me.
If you can do it, do it.
The amount of bands where there'll be 5 people in the band, and I'll be watching it at home as a bald guy going, there's no fucking way one of these guys didn't go.
Of course.
There's no way.
Oh, dude, there's a list of them a mile long. Dude, I have that disease, so where I'm losing my hair. It's called middle-aged, and it's going to happen to everybody out there.
I just gave into it.
Except for me. I'm 75 years old, and I still look good for an old bat.
Yes, he does.
Oh, you look
yes,
great.
He does.
You know what's great about your book? Not only do you get the unbelievable, unconditional love that you have for your whole family, is it really made me want to go get some Italian food.
Yeah.
Because there was so much of it talking about. I'm actually going to make meatballs tonight. Okay. When you were talking about, early on, for people who haven't read the book yet, Stephen's mom, Deanna, used to come by their apartment. It used to bring them food and everything when they were struggling.
Yeah,
Yes,
won't buy our studio. She would come bring
studio.
us food because she's a great cook. My mom's a fabulous cook, so we always, make stuff, put it in a Tupperware and bring it down, grab all our laundry, go
Just
do
watch
our
hitting the
laundry.
table, because that's going to make a lot of noise. I'm just letting you know.
All right, thanks
Because
for that
after
information.
no
hitting the table. God damn.
I'm not trying to put constrictions on you. I just want people to hear what
He
you
is a drummer, Bill. He is a drummer.
I got
That's
that
what he
rhythm in
does.
me.
Hey, go with the arms of the chair, then, man.
Okay.
What's your go-to dish? You want to impress people. They're coming by.
Yeah, eggplant parmesan. I make a very good eggplant parmesan. I make a very good lasagna. I make a very good sauce.
Great sauce.
I'm a good cook. I'm not bragging,
Right.
but
When you're good, you're good.
No, it's a big
good
part of
cook.
the book, though.
I'm a good cook.
So that must have been. So when you went over there, you got early on. You got a sense that the band was gonna take off.
Oh no, nothing like that.
Our our studio our bathroom didn't even work, and it was too disgusting to even go in.
See, I don't know
And
how
it
you
was
guys.
a room, I think, by 10 by 12.
He's talking about the studio
the
that he was
studio
recording
behind
in.
Guitar Center that we all used to live at. Well, we lived at girls' houses, but that was our rehearsal, and we always hang there. And she, would come by and bring us food.
I never understood how they did that. Trying to make it as a comedian, you're just by yourself, and as bad as it is, you're sort of this little dictator, and you can decide when you're going to eat and blah 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 blah. But if you're in a band, there's always going to be the late guy, the other guy doing this. Like I don't know how you guys.
I always loved being part of a team. Like when I was younger, I played football. I loved the way when you get together and everybody creates something together.
Right.
And
Let me ask you this.
In my band at the time, we created such great magic, and it just happened.
Have you read your mom's book?
No, I'm afraid to read it.
No.
I gotta be honest with you.
I already can imagine what the pain I put her through. If I read it,
Well, that's what you get in this book, because I read your book, and I'm rooting for you the whole way through. Obviously, a huge fan and everything, but now to get the other side of a lot of those stories. The worry that I got to tell you, dude, I'm not gonna lie, you put it through hell, man.
Oh,
you really put it through hell.
Well, I didn't wake up every
He
morning.
put me through hell, and don't forget that.
H-E double hockey sticks.
H-E-L-L.
I did not, I didn't wake up in the morning and go, hey, how can I, hurt my mother and hurt my family and my friends.
No, I understand.
I was, I'm an addict, so I did what I did, and you don't think about it, the consequences.
Well, I just became a dad 2 months ago, so now I'm reading this from
next a couple months.
Yeah, so I'm reading it from a new perspective, and I just keep now I can be on both sides rather than being the messed up kid, which I already did that. Now seeing if you want to tell people, because you touch on part of the book, like those feelings when you're sitting at home. I mean, you're always going to remember him as a little baby, and he's out on the street and everything. That must have,
Well,
she didn't even know I was in school.
Let me get it real quick.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow, look at that. The slaps are going higher.
I'm really starting to see this dynamic.
Now, when he was growing up, I didn't worry about him because I knew where he was. He was at Grandma's house.
Mm-hmm.
But then okay, there's a mistake right there. I knew he was at Grandma's house, but I didn't know what was going on when he was living at Grandma's house, that he would be going out all night and going to these clubs. And but I didn't worry about it because I thought, okay, he's safe. He's at Grandma's house.
And what happened when you found out that he wasn't there?
Well, I didn't find out till years later. I didn't
Decades
find out.
later. I did school every day. You know, the school never even called her.
Yeah, this was like the 70s.
Yeah,
like
the 70s. Nobody gave a shit. Dude,
Nobody cared.
I could go in a liquor store at 15 and kind of a pack of cigarettes and I'm buying a 6-pack of beer. Are you old enough? Yeah.
Drinking age was 18, right?
I was 21.
Oh, it was 21 back then?
Yeah, me and Sash would just walk in 7-Eleven, just give me some cigarettes. We're taking his beer.
And they were,
It was not, 70s were great, man. Dude,
No,
they had Quaaludes,
I'll tell you when I worry.
70s ruled.
I'm telling you, I want to tell a story.
Okay.
I got your story.
Trying to keep the tension down, guys. So what, do you have any, because I haven't got that far into the book, do you end up giving advice? Because I think this would be an incredible book for parents that were dealing with the situation that you were dealing with.
I could never give advice to anyone. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a professional person. I'm not a psychiatrist or anything like that. I'm just Stephen Adler's mother. And I told about how it affected me, the things that he did. But if I wanted to tell people what to do, if I wanted to do that, I would say, if you have a son or daughter that's an alcoholic or a drug addict, take care of yourself. And that took me a long time to learn. I mean, years to learn. Stop worrying about him. That's his life. You didn't teach him to drink or take drugs. You didn't do that to him.
Right.
Well, you didn't do that to him.
Oh, no, I didn't do that to him.
That do drugs around their kids.
You know,
Right.
I don't know anything about that, about drugs or alcohol. I didn't know what was going on. And but I would tell people to go to Al-Anon meetings, go to AA meetings, to take care of yourself. Don't worry.
Even as a non-addict, you would go to an AA meeting
yeah.
just to what? Try to understand what you're dealing with?
Exactly.
Right.
So you know what your friend or your associate or whoever, your son or daughter, is going through, what they're thinking. And you go to the Al-Anon meetings and you realize you're not the only one. And you just feel so much better. In our meetings
Was that was your experience?
Well, what happened was my daughter-in-law, Carolina, Stephen's wife, she would tell me, go to an Al-Anon meeting, go to an Al-Anon meeting. And I'd say, no, I don't want to go there because I don't want to hear anybody else's problems.
Okay.
But finally, I went to my first Al-Anon meeting, which was a few years ago. And I walked in there and I thought to myself, do they know who I am? I'm so ashamed. My son's a drug addict. He's an alcoholic. Do they know who I am? Well, when you go to these meetings, when you introduce yourself, you only say the first name. So
Right.
they don't really know who you are.
Right.
And I listened to what everybody was saying. And you want to know something? I walked out of there and I said to myself, oh, my God, I don't have it so bad. There were such stories to be told. People have it so much worse than me. I couldn't believe it. And I felt good about myself.
So did that make you go to more, or did you
I
just
went
need
to more,
the one?
yes, I go to more, yes.
Oh,
I've
okay.
gone to AA meetings to listen to what these drug addicts have gone through, their stories. It doesn't hurt me to do this.
I remember when I got
knowledge is important of this.
I got arrested for drinking and driving in like the late 80s, and one of the things is you had to go to like a couple of AA meetings, and I was concerned, like, oh God, what is this going to be like? And I went there, and that actually did make me feel better. I was like, all right, I drink, I don't. I'm not doing what these people are doing.
Yeah, I always feel better going there. I was forced to go when I got arrested on that celebrity rehab show. Mm-hmm. I love that I got arrested on a show about doing drugs because I had drugs on me. That was my highlight of my life. That was a highlight, okay? But so I had to go for 3 months. Every day I had to get this paper signed. And I'm so glad I did because I had to go. And then after the first couple of days, I enjoyed it. It was 1 hour a day.
I gotta tell you, dude, you look great.
Thank you.
You look great.
I got over 3 years.
Yeah, you are. You look,
Oh. Yeah, thank you.
Clear-eyed and everything.
Dude, we go to the gym every morning. We have a life now. We have a life.
This is
so
a weird
good to
thing,
be
though,
alive.
that me comedians have joked about. There's something, if you do hard drugs in your 20s, you have like abs for life. You guys are all in like crazy shape. Everybody else.
Alcohol.
Else.
I gained. I
don't know what it is.
lost 40 pounds when I was drinking. The last 3 years before I got sober 3 years ago, I was drinking Jägermeister.
And you want to know something?
You could drink at what age?
I wasn't drinking, when I was younger. I had, a few beers. We go to the Rainbow and, get the Long Island iced teas that girls would usually buy us. But it wasn't like I went to the liquor store every day. But before I got sober 3 years ago, every morning I drank from 6 o'clock when the liquor store opened. I would be there sometimes before the owner got there to open up. Oh, hey, Steven, how's it going? How do you think it's going? I'm at the liquor store fucking before you.
All right, listen.
That's how it's going.
Wait a minute. I want to say something. When Steven was on drugs, he was so skinny, like a weed, so tiny.
Now, heroin and crack will do that to you.
Oh, yeah.
So-
You live on taco or Jack in the Box tacos and ding dongs
Wait a minute.
and Jägermeister. That's the life of a drug addict.
Listen to me. I've said this before.
I've listened to you and listened to you for
guys.
52 years.
Come on.
I am so tired of this.
Done listening to
Silence, okay? Silence is golden, my queen.
You're so
Silence.
mean to me.
Okay,
Come
the
on.
queen wants to speak.
You know what?
Let the queen speak.
I want to say something about...
I hear the love. I still hear the love.
Now, wait a
between
minute.
you.
I just want to finish this sentence.
Okay.
When he was drinking alcohol, he was heavy. And I would tell everybody, oh, Steven never looked so good. He's got some fat on him now. He's not so skinny. It's a pleasure to look at him. I didn't know that's what alcohol does.
I was
to you.
alcohol because of all the sugar that's in alcohol.
I didn't know that.
You're a sweetheart. You're making meals for people. You're encouraging and all that. I get that. So you're not looking for
no,
it.
she was a wonderful mother.
Yeah.
I just,
Old
I was
school
the kind
mom
of,
made you food, hit you with the brush.
No,
The wooden spoon.
Wooden spoon,
Please,
sorry.
the
Get
wooden
it straight. The wooden spoon.
My grandmother broke a wooden spoon over. She tried to hit me in the head with it, and I got the arm up to block it.
And she broke it on your grandma's.
Yeah, and then she
grandma's are
immediately
tough.
she snapped out. She had this crazy look when she went to hit me, and the second it snapped, she just went back to normal.
Yeah, all she had to do was just get a solid hit anywhere on you.
Wait,
just-
can
And
I
then she felt better. Relieved.
I want to tell this.
smacked my kid.
I want to tell the story about Jamie. I used to hit him with the wooden spoon just on the thigh. Nothing terrible.
Yeah, nothing terrible.
And
No.
That's acceptable.
Yeah. And so one night he talked back to me. So either I used to wash out their mouth with
soap.
soap.
Yeah. Now, did you really do it? Make them stick the bar in there, or did you just wash their face?
Only the time I couldn't, I was too little to do anything about it.
She's got
Wait
to
a
take a
minute.
water break here. Hang on a second.
There's a little soda pop there.
So with Jamie, my youngest son, he sassed me back. So I didn't have the soap. I didn't get the soap. So I had the wooden spoon. So I started chasing him around the dining room table. I said, I'm going to get you. You're not going to talk like that to me. I won't have it.
I'm like 10 years old at the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So you're agile. You're low to the ground. You got a low center of gravity.
No, but
So I got so mad at him, I threw the wooden spoon at Jamie. He grabbed the wooden spoon and started chasing me around the table.
I
with
said,
it.
this is never going to happen again, Mom.
And
I took the wooden
we
spoon.
started-
At 10?
At 10, I took the wooden spoon. I started
Deanna, you
chasing
can't
her.
have that.
Now wait a minute.
You can't have that as a
he
mom.
He started running after me with the wooden spoon, and we started to laugh, and that was the end of the wooden spoon.
That was it. I took the wooden spoon from her and I put it under my bed and it was done.
You know what I did? My dad was in a fraternity, and he kept the paddle as a souvenir. My mother used to hit us with
Holy
it.
crap.
So
Oh,
I
man.
took it and I hid it. I hid it in between their mattress because I figured they would never look there. They would ripping apart our rooms trying to find it.
See?
Well, you're a genius even as a kid. Good for
Oh
you.
yeah, I did. It was out of necessity.
That was fun.
My mother didn't have the greatest aim.
We're streetwise.
No, I
was cul-de-sac wise.
I wouldn't hit him. I just on the thigh or the tush. That's all. Nothing.
My mother didn't have good hand-eye coordination, or she'd get so mad and she'd miss and she'd hit your lower back or the back of your leg.
No, nothing like that.
No,
nothing
by
like
accident. I'm not trying to indict. I think the statute of limitations has run out at this point.
Yeah, I think it's worn out. But times are so different. If parent, gives their kid a smack on the tush or something, and it's like, oh, you're going to jail. I'm calling what are you talking?
Because everybody
if you
has
listen to this
videotape.
kid for 24 hours a day like I do, you would smack him.
That's what it is. But there wasn't all these video cameras. I just realized I didn't even say where you can get your book at. Your book is available at Amazon.com. Once upon once again, I can't.
That's
literally
okay.
look.
It's
I can't look
available
a
at
sheet.
Amazon.com,
You're
and it's also available at.
Shut up, Booksmart. Hey, can
Hey,
I?
Al, I'm all mixed up.
At Amazon.
Oh, yeah, and it's at Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, Barnes and
Deanna
Noble.
Adler's book, Sweet Child of Mine, is available at Amazon.com. There we go.
And
And
she's
also-
having. Go ahead. Oh, you
I'd
tell
like to
us
say
what.
it. I'd like to
This
say it
very
if you don't
moment.
mind.
And Bill, you're invited,
Like to
Bill.
say it?
Big book signing March 29th at Barnes and Noble.
I'll
At
be
7
there.
o'clock over in the Grove.
At the
At the
Grove. I'm
Grove,
very
yeah.
excited.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm very
I'll
excited
definitely
about it.
swing by.
We're gonna have
Jamie will be
Absolutely.
there. My brother
I'll
Jamie
be
will be
there.
there.
A lot of
And,
celebrities.
yeah.
My brother's having all his friends come out.
I have 3 friends in my life. I have 3.
all
I
you
broke
need.
it down to 3.
That's all you need.
That's all it is. I got 2 pairs of pants, 7 shirts, 12 pairs of socks, and 12 pairs of underwear.
Did you get the world travel like luggage packing thing down? Where like
Oh yeah, no, it's this big.
you just made like the size of a
Yeah.
bread box. What would you
Yeah,
when
yeah, no,
you're
it's
going to do a world tour? You were leaving your apartment for a year. What are you bringing?
2 pairs of pants, my PJs, a pair of sweats, T-shirts, underwear, socks,
Let me
and
tell him
3
a story.
nice shirts to wear on stage.
I want to tell you a story about him going on tour.
Okay, come up closer to the mic a little bit.
One day he calls me up, and he's at this hotel, and he says, "Ma, you come on by here. I got some clothes. I got some things I want you to take home with you. We're going to play Donington
Yeah, in England.
in England." Mm-hmm. And I said, "Okay." So I go to the hotel, and he comes out of the hotel, and he's wearing pants that are slit. You know how that in the 80s they had
Oh,
this
yeah.
Oh, yeah, the holy
slit,
jeans.
the holy they were and also not only that, there were slits
cool.
by his tush,
Okay,
by the tush.
he's a rock star.
Yeah, we didn't wear underwear back then either.
And so
Now I do.
now wait a minute.
You
So
turn
now
40,
I
start
say to
wearing
him
it.
like
let
this.
him get through
I
this.
said, "Let me tell this story."
No.
And so now he's coming out, and I see he's wearing these torn pants. I said, "Stephen," I says, "you can't go on the Concorde like that." I says, "You have to dress properly." He says, "Don't worry, Ma, it's okay. It's all right." So a few minutes later, we're talking, and a few minutes later, I'll never forget it, a great big gray stretch limousine pulls up to the front of the hotel. And he says, "Oh, that's my ride." I says, "Okay." So he walks down to the car, and the guy opens the door for him to get into the limousine. And he turns around, he looks at me, he says, "See, Ma, it's okay what I'm wearing.
No, I said, look, see, Ma, look at my ass.
You know,
It's okay,
it's
when
okay
I'm
what
wearing.
I'm wearing. You know,
What is that like as a mother to have a son achieve like that?
I'm very proud of Stephen. He's accomplished so much in his life, and sure, we've gone through a lot of bad times, but that's over with now, and I'm very happy
Oh,
for
it ain't
him.
over. Wait till we walk out of the studio. You are so done.
Wait.
I'm going to age you 10 years once we walk out of here.
If I wanted to hear any of your shit, I'd squeeze your head.
Thank
So
you.
Oh,
stop.
here we go.
right.
Here we go. Well, during that
it.
time, what's your favorite city to play to perform?
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam, for the obvious reason.
Why Amsterdam?
That's why I'm looking for a new house. Everywhere. But I had to say, Argentina, South America is the greatest place.
You know what's
to
amazing?
play.
AC/DC's best live video, I think, it's from somewhere in South America,
Yeah,
and the
Argentina.
level crazy that the fans are going was
Insane.
embarrassing to me as a concert going. Like, as a concert goer, I thought I was bringing it for the band. Like the whole place was going nuts. They knew
The
every
whole
word.
place, even the people in the stands, they're so passionate. You ever see an Iron Maiden concert?
Oh, and they went down there.
Oh shit! Watch an Iron Maiden concert down there, it's insanity. It's just a whole, River Plate Stadium is a giant mosh pit.
What was that feeling the first time you played and
Oh,
you're sitting back there? Because as a drummer, you get to kind of sit down and take it in too. You got a
Oh,
nice
yeah.
seat. What?
It's the greatest thing in my life. It's everything I ever dreamed of and more.
How did you play that night?
Great.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
yeah.
take it to the next level. That's so.
Oh yeah, no, it's just you start small and you work your way up because that's the dream. It's not to play for 5 or 10 people.
Oh yeah.
It's to play for 5 or 100,000 people.
Well, what blew me away about your playing was, I was a frustrated drummer before I became a comedian. And back in the 80s, I'm sure you remember, like, everybody had these giant kits, even if they were just playing like a 2/4 thing. And then you came out and you just had a little 4-piece kit.
Three. It was actually three when we started. It was just a bass snare and a floor tom, ride, crash, and a hi-hat and a cowbell.
How did you, Because the look was, even if you didn't play double bass, a lot of people had that second kick set up without even a pedal.
I had that look. And then I was playing with this other band during the afternoon, and I got a call from Slash saying that we're going to do Duff hooked up a show at the Troubadour on Thursday, and then he hooked up a show in Seattle and in Oregon. So he said, you want to go? I said, of course I want to go. My bag's been packed my whole life, which is approximately 18, 19 years. Okay. So I
think we got to get back to your mom.
Hold on. So I was playing with this other band, and my mom's got nothing else to say.
Oh, Steve, come on. What are you doing here?
He's got nothing to say. No, but anyway, I broke my bass drum head. So when I went to play GNR, I said, I'm not going to set the whole thing up. I'm just going to use the 3 pieces. And it just worked.
Oh, well, I'll tell you, you got more out of that than most guys got out of the 10.
Yeah, that's all you need. That's the
incredible
basics.
drum part. Sorry, so back to you.
Okay, what do you have to say?
Mom, sorry.
I wanted to tell him about the first time I saw you play.
Oh,
I'd love to hear that.
The first time I saw him play, I think it was at the Troubadour. Was it the Troubadour? Yeah, the Troubadour.
Madam Wong's.
Was it Madam Wong's? I can't even remember. So long ago.
This is a grandma story.
Oh, that's grandma story.
No, I'm not talking about Grandma.
When you brought her?
Let me talk for 2 minutes. I'm so sorry, listeners.
No, this is making me...
He's out of his mind.
I'm getting the wooden spoon.
Okay.
This is making me feel homesick. This is exactly like a conversation in
Mom,
my
get back
house.
into the kitchen where you belong.
Guys.
Please.
Jesus.
Anyway, it's the first time I saw him play.
You are in the express lane to heaven. That's all I'm saying. You are in the express lane to heaven. Watching you dealing with this shit. You still have an older one that I haven't even seen yet. You're a saint. Sorry, I interrupted. My apologies. Go ahead.
I can't talk. They won't let me talk.
No, go ahead.
Anyways, I went to see him play, and Jamie was with us, and Jamie was, I think, about 9 years old. And we got a call from Stephen, and Stephen says, come and watch us play. I says, it's a school night. We can't come. He says, come after dinner just for a little while. So I said, okay. So we drove we were living in the Valley at the time, and we drove into Hollywood, and we parked the car down the street. I remember this. And all these boys and girls, young adults, they had on black leather pants and sheer blouses, and their hair was up to the ceiling, and makeup like you wouldn't believe. And those were the guys. Those were the guys.
Okay, those are the whores.
No, those were the guys.
Make up like a whore.
So we went to the front of the venue, and there was a security guy there, and I said to him, I says, can you please tell Stephen Adler his mom and dad are here and his brother? He says, of course. So Stephen comes out and he tells us to come into the venue, and he says, now I want you to stay on the side of the venue. He said, don't go in the middle. He said, go to the side.
Yeah, it's safe.
Yeah, that's where you're safe. And I think to myself, what? To be safe? What's going to go on here? So a few minutes later, the lights go out. It's pitch black in the venue. And all of a sudden, Stephen starts to play, and it's like a 747 landing on my head. That's how loud it was. That's how loud it was.
That was
crazy. So right away, of course, I got deaf. I didn't hear nothing anymore. That was the end of me. I was deaf for about 3 or 4 hours.
No, you weren't deaf. You were deaf.
Deaf. I said deaf. Did I say deaf? I said deaf. And for about 3 or 4 hours, I was deaf. On the way home, I couldn't hear anybody talk. And I said to myself, oh, my God, I can't do this again. It was too much for me. So right away, the next time, I bought earplugs to put in my ears. I didn't realize what was going to happen. I didn't understand it because I had never done anything like this before. Anyways, we were very proud of him. And
so the second time you probably got to enjoy his playing a little more because you weren't dealing with the sonic.
Oh yeah, it was very, very loud when they start to play.
Well, my favorite story when they came to the shows, they brought my grandmother.
Oh yeah,
it was my 75-year-old grandmother.
Wow.
Okay, and she, a little Jewish lady, about 4'3".
Yeah.
Really?
And I said, they're at the bar area, at the Troubadour, it's more safe there. And, Jamie, my mom, and my grandmother are standing there. And the next thing you know, she looks down and my grandma's gone. And I'm playing on the stage, and I'm looking around. I look down, and in the front row, there's my grandmother.
She's standing right by the big speaker.
Right at the front of the stage. I said, "That's my Stevie. I love you, Stevie." And Axel's wearing a pair of chaps, with a G-string. So he got his little red hairy little ass right there. And my grandmother's right there, like 2 feet away. I'm going, "Get out of there. Get out of there." I'm playing, going, "Go over there."
But my mother never looked at Axel. She was just looking
she was just looking at me.
Of course.
I'm the only one that mattered. She had how many kids and grandkids? 30?
No, she had 14 grandchildren.
Yeah, but kids, but 8 kids, grandkids. She didn't like any of them but me.
Has this is this your longest stretch being sober?
Yes.
3 years? That's a
Well, before I was 11, yeah.
Yeah. First 11 years of your life, you killed it.
I killed it. I was great, man.
Don't you wish those years counted?
Yeah.
When people go like, "What's the longest you've been sober?" Like, for me, it was probably the first 15 years. I did 15 years from the time I was born. I
had a good 11 years.
That's amazing. So is this an easier time than Deanna for you now that he's, look at him.
I can finally sleep at night.
He's got Christmas in his eyes. Look at him.
I could finally sleep at night because for 30 years, every night when I went to sleep, it was, oh my God, is the coroner going to call? Is the hospital going to call? The police? I mean, what mother could sleep when her son is out there?
You know what's funny? That's why I didn't do any of those. I didn't do any Charlie Sheen jokes. Because I just kept thinking when Charlie Sheen was going off the rails and everybody was like laughing about the tiger blood and all that stuff, I just kept thinking about his, because Emilio Estevez, I grew up watching his movies and I loved all the stuff his dad. So I was just thinking like they're sitting by a phone waiting to get that phone call that he's dead. So everybody's just sitting there watching that train wreck of a tour that he did. I never saw the humor in it, but I also remember some comedians that didn't make it either. So.
And you know what? There's a lot of parents out there who have lost their sons and daughters to drugs. Mm-hmm. And they're just regular people, but their hearts are broken now. Yeah. I remember one story, and I think I told this story before, about this real estate lady. I was selling my condo in Las Vegas, and a real estate lady came to my house. And she looks at, and she comes in the house, and she sees all these gold and platinum records on the wall. And she says, "Whose records are these? Whose awards are these?" I said, "Well, they belong to my son, Steven Adler. He's the original drummer from Guns N' Roses." And she said, "Oh, my God, you're Mrs. Adler?" And I says, "Yes." And she says, "Can I come after I finish my client? Can I come back and talk with you?" I says, "Of course." So she comes back a little while later, and we sit down in the living room. And she says, "I'm going to say something I haven't said in 5 years." I says, "Well, what is it?" She says, "My daughter died of a drug overdose, and I've never said that before. I tell everyone that my daughter died in a car accident because she couldn't bring herself to say it."
Because they blame themselves. There's like a shame to it.
Yeah.
Right. It's a shame. There's no need to be ashamed, but it was a shame. So I says, she says, "I've never told anyone this until you." She never said, for 5 years, she didn't tell her family or friends. She just tells everyone, "Oh, my daughter died in a car accident." But it wasn't true. So she was able to tell me because she knew that I would understand what she's talking about.
Wow. And that's so important to be able to tell somebody these things that you're holding inside. Because resentment is one of the main worst things for an addict, especially, is resentment. But for anybody, you have resentment, you can't move forward with your life. So being able to talk about it and get out of your system, that's the first thing. It's like, this has happened to many people. I talked about it in my book about when I was living with my grandmother. I was 12, 13, 14 years old, and I used to hang out at the Starwood.
Yep.
I relived off Fairfax and Santa Monica. Hayworth and Santa Monica. So it's West Hollywood. So and there's always guys trying to pick you up. It was the 70s,
right?
And I used to hang out at the Rainbow and the Starwood and stuff like that. And one night, I this older teenager I was hanging with drugged me, and I ended up getting sexually abused, by these two guys. And I was like 13 years old, and I couldn't talk about that forever, but it was something that was deep inside
that
hurt me.
That wasn't acceptable for anybody for the longest time. Forget about it as a guy.
Yeah.
Like some of they almost like, I'm 13. I don't think you can give anybody shit for that, but you know.
But I once I talked about that in my book, and I mentioned, when you wouldn't believe how many people have come up to me and says, you talking about that made me be able to talk about it. I'm not talking 1, 2,
That's
3.
great.
I travel around the world, okay?
So you guys are both, you're both doing great. You guys have 2 hit books.
We're survivors.
Do you guys think you're going to have now that you're sober and everything, maybe you guys will have a 3rd book in you? Where you don't have to hit him with the spoon. He's sleeping in
be hitting me with the spoon still.
But at least you'll be sleeping in a bed.
I'm going to be hitting her with the spoon. It's not her hitting me. It's me going to hit her.
I don't have anything left in me after this book. I don't have anything left.
It reads that way, though. I mean, you really put it out there. So I got to...
I told the truth about everything. See, I've been writing this book since 1984. Every time I would see him perform, or we went
literally writing it?
Yes. I would write down notes on a piece of paper saying, well, this is what happened today. And
she's good, though. She's one of those people who writes a lot, has very nice handwriting and enjoys writing. Not like me and you.
Yeah, no. I was just going to bond with you right there.
You can't even read my signature. It's like, what does it say? Adlers. You can't even read it.
So I never thought about writing a book. But then a few years ago, Jamie said to me, Ma, you have all these pieces of paper, all these stories. Why don't you put it together for a book? And I said, I never thought about that. And so he got Larry Spagnola, who is my co-writer. He put it all together for me.
He helped with me on my book.
And he helped Stephen.
Oh, okay.
He was helping Stephen. He helped Stephen with his book. And so we called Larry, and Larry says, of course I'll help you, So he helped me a lot.
I mean, it's I can't say enough. My fans, they know I don't read. And if I get my hands on a book and I can't put it down, that's basically the way it is. With this one. So, Jamie, when are you going to write a book, man? You're like the only guy left in the family, right?
I'm working on my own book right now. Don't peak at 25.
Okay.
Hey, Bill, it's crazy because I've had at least like 4 or 5 phone calls from people calling me up saying, I had no idea your family was this fucked up. And mine is even worse than yours. And
see, that's
it's unreal. Like, people are really calling me up saying, I have a secret to tell you. And like, people are like really starting to divulge their secrets. And every family has one. In my mom's book, I really want this book to be a big success, not because of, I want to make some money, but I want to be able to help the rest of the world. I want the rest of the world to not have to hold on to these secrets anymore. Because, like, my brother just shared a crazy secret.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't just share it.
Yeah, he shared it 8 years ago. But he wrote it in his book.
Yeah, it was in my book.
It's in his book. The guy admitted that he was sexually molested.
No, I read his book. I remember that. I was like...
So as soon as he said that, within the next couple of years, he kind of stopped doing heroin and crack. Well, because that secret that he was holding inside, he was able to let go. And that's what they talk about. When you carry mud, you carry dirt, like you're carrying a big load. So all of a sudden, my mom puts out this book, and I've been getting some phone calls from some, pretty prestigious people that I look up to, and they're admitting that they have drug addicts and disease in their family as well.
No, you know what I found with my comedy? That there's a lot of angry people out there.
Hell yeah.
And as I've been working through my anger, I have a portion of my fans going like, dude, you're not as angry. Like, they're getting mad at me because, I'm a little happier.
We want you angry, man.
I still...
want you angry.
Yeah, stay angry, dude. I love...
What was it? What's it not... Misery loves company.
Exactly.
They want you angry.
They disguise it as don't lose your edge. Don't lose your edge.
Yeah.
It's like, what is my edge? Yeah. Yelling at other people's mothers at a red light? You know what I mean? That's somebody's grandmother. What am I doing? Like, at some point,
were speaking for millions of people.
Yeah, I have to bring it down a little bit. You know what I mean? So whatever. There's always a couple people going to give you a rough time.
Of course.
All right. So we've got a little more time left. Is there anything else? I mean, what was it? I'm sure it's in the book, but what was the watershed moment where you finally saw your son have like this breakthrough where you felt like, okay, like he'll actually, like this time it might take, like he's gone on a 3-year run. That's incredible.
Yes. I really never had that, like you say, watershed moment. I've always said to myself, okay, everything's going to be all right. The best is yet to come. He's going to be fine, but...
Bill, it's been like a 30-year battle, up and down roller coaster.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster.
And it's just like we always have hope.
Yeah.
I mean, we're the only two people that have never left Stephen's life. We've always been by his side.
Well, my wife's been with me for 16 years.
Well, his wife.
And she's never did a drug or drink.
Never, but we've been together as a family this whole time. Yeah, there might be times we don't talk for like a year or whatever, but we're always there for each other.
What's the craziest thing you guys ever tried to get him sober? Because I would literally at some point, the love for my brother would be like, I'm just going to chain this guy to a tree.
That's what I did. I did that.
You can't, you see, but that's the thing, is you can't do that. And
that doesn't work? That doesn't work to do that?
No. My friend Mark Canner from Canner's Deli, he wanted to chain me up to his radiator downstairs in his basement. I said, it's not going to work. Because as soon as I get out, I'm going to have more resentment, and I'm going to go over deep and even more.
Wait, he sat down and had a logical conversation like, Steve, listen, I'm going to chain you to this radio.
Yeah, Mark Hanna.
Hear me out. I'm going to chain you to this radio.
Oh, yeah. Mark Hanna.
I got his book, too, with all the pictures that he took of you guys down there. I bought every goddamn thing you guys have ever done.
His whole family's wonderful. I love Mark. Yeah, he's great.
I used to do so many crazy things. I would nag him, go to a rehab, do this, do that. It didn't do any good.
No, I would go to rehab just to appease them.
Yeah,
just to shut them up. And I'd go, and I'd end up leaving the next morning, and there's $35,000-$40,000 in the toilet. Because once you give them the money, and you could leave 10 minutes later, you don't get that money back. Rehabs are the biggest ripoff and waste
of time. Or investment, depending on what side you're on.
Exactly. Unless you're the owner,
yeah.
It's the biggest ripoff. But if you're the owner, you're making bank. I call them revolving doors because you're going to keep going in and out and in and out and in and out.
What's the fastest rehab you had? Like you went in the second the car drives away, do you walk right back?
I didn't even get to the place. My friend Bob Forrest, he works with Dr. Drew.
Yeah.
He put me on a plane to go to, I think, Michigan or something like that. And I got on another plane and went to New York and spent like 2 weeks there. I went to some nightclub. Some people recognized me. Next, 3 weeks later, I was like, I'm going to go back home. And so I got on a plane, went back home.
They never checked in to see if you went?
Of course they did, but I didn't check in with them. I just never showed up.
Bill, when your brother is your hero and you look up to him, and he's this big rock star, and the guy's killing himself, and you watch him die and kill himself for 30 years, your last hope is you got to kidnap the guy and bring him to Los Angeles.
Right.
And that's what we ended up doing. And
it just made it worse.
It just made it completely worse. And fast forward, years later, the guy's alive, and that's all that matters is where is he at today. Yeah, right, and today he's alive and he's healthy. And you know what? He might have been dead, or he's still alive. Who knows? But that's all that matters is today we have our brother.
Do you two guys have any resentment for the shit you went through with your brother?
No.
Your son, your brother?
I don't have any resentment towards my brother.
That's very mature.
No,
because listen,
he was a drug addict too.
I used to do drugs, of course. I went to rehab one time. I've had my own share of experiences, but the one that got me high the very first time when I was 12 years old was my brother.
What were you thinking?
Right. Okay.
I wasn't thinking.
But
I was on drugs.
But you know what? Listen,
drugs.
Everything in life happens for a reason. It got me to where I'm at today. And if my brother was this big rock star, I wouldn't be the agent, the manager that I am. Right. I wouldn't have this amazing lifestyle that I have. But so resentments, no, of course I would have loved my brother not to have been a junkie for 25, 30 years. But
even if I wasn't a rock star, I was just a junkie. Anybody. You don't have to be a rock star or a movie star. You can be, I'm an everyday, ordinary, average guy. Throw out the trash, I pick up the dog do.
When it's your flesh and blood, it's a little different. Like you never give up on your flesh and blood, and it's all talked about in that book. In my brother's book too, he has a chapter in there called Thug Love. And I mean, we can make a whole movie on that one chapter. Give him a milkshake in Las Vegas, and he woke up in Los Angeles, and then he was held hostage for like 3 months. I could have gone to prison. I could have gone to prison for the rest of my life. I committed so many felonies across the state lines, kidnapping,
overstate lines,
all this crazy stuff. But you know what? I had no other choice. I didn't know what else to do. That was my last resort to try to help my brother.
Okay. You know what happened? You know what the best choice would have been? He went to
celebrity rehab after that.
Yeah, but see, I would have done celebrity rehab anyways. You know what would happen if they didn't kidnap me? I wouldn't have the resentment that I did have towards it, that made everything worse because they kidnapped me. I mean, he wasn't there. But the people that were holding me hostage, they were giving me better and more drugs than I was doing on my own. Okay, they
it's all
weren't
in the
doing
book,
any better.
everybody. If this doesn't make you want to read all of these damn books. Oh, yeah, you have to have the last word.
I want to say one little story here.
Okay.
Jamie calls me up. He's in Los Angeles, and Stephen and I are in Las Vegas. And Jamie calls me up and says, bring Stephen to Los Angeles. Drive him to Los Angeles. I says, for what? And he says, we're going to put him in a rehab. I said, okay. So Stephen and I get in the car, and we're driving. And we're driving to Los Angeles. And every 2 minutes, he's poking his head in the back seat. And I know he's smoking. I think he's smoking weed, but he's not. He's smoking crack. So every few minutes, he would go and put his head in the back of the seat, turn his head around.
I was in the back seat.
No, you weren't in the back.
Yeah,
you were in the front.
Oh, yeah, I'm just turning to the side and taking it.
And so...
And you're not aware that he's sitting right next to you.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's smoking weed. So I say to him, stop smoking the weed. Stop it. I'm driving the car. I don't want you to smoke in the car. I told you not to smoke. And lo and behold, he of course he's not going to stop. He's not going to listen to anything I say. And we're about an hour out of Los Angeles. And all of a sudden, I didn't know where I was. And I've driven this route 100 times or more. And all of a sudden, I says to Stephen, I said, I don't understand. Where are we? Why are we here? I don't get it. I stopped the car. Mm-hmm. And he says, don't worry. I says, I don't know how to get to Los Angeles. I said, what should I do? He says, don't worry, Ma, I'll guide you.
I said, hold on 1 second. I put a nice little rock in there. I said, okay, go straight ahead, and we go on the freeway there.
Wait, why didn't you?
I was
high off of his?
I was
so you can get contact high off of crack. I never
right.
sat next to somebody doing crack. I had people doing it on my stoop when I lived in New York, and I'd walk around it, but I wasn't in an enclosure.
That's different.
You got your mother high on crack, Stephen?
Yeah, I didn't want to.
I
didn't know they were taking me. Hey, I'm an addict. I didn't want to do anything.
I didn't know what happened to me. I couldn't understand it because I never got like that, but all of a sudden my brain went dead. I couldn't figure out why I was there.
Literally
dead.
Numb.
And believe me when I tell you, he guided me to exactly where I wanted to go, even if he's on crack or cocaine or whatever the hell he used to take.
Once you get on the 10, you're all set. You can be in Florida. Just stay on this.
I didn't know where to get off.
Wherever you're going, everywhere you're going. If I didn't have that drug, I wouldn't have been lost too. I said, let me take a big head. Okay, now I know where to go. Let's keep going straight.
And Bill, we're a Jewish family. How many Jewish families could say a story like that?
There's actually a lot.
Okay.
There probably is a lot.
Well, there's a lot more, but we don't know about that.
We don't know about it.
Well, hopefully all the stuff that you guys are putting out there in your books will have the same effect that you had when you talked about how you were sexually abused, and you were talking about how you dealing with the son that's battling addiction. I got to tell you, everybody listen out there, the book is phenomenal. It's called Sweet Child of Mine by Deanna Adler, and you can get that on Amazon.com. And if you want to read the other side of Stephen going through it, you can read his My Appetite for Destruction, Sex, Drugs, and Guns N' Roses. That's also available on Amazon.com. I can't thank you guys.
Wait a minute.
So much for coming.
Also, I have
Wait a minute.
Mom wants to say something.
I want to say one thing. You could also find it at Barnes & Noble's.
Oh.
You could find it on Kindle. And if you're if a foreign country, all around the world, you could find it on Book Depository. And please, if you're in the neighborhood on March 29th at 7 p.m., go to the Grove, and I'm going to have my first book signing at Barnes & Noble, and I'm very excited about it. And I'd love to meet you.
Come on. I can't top that ending. There you go. Deanna Adler, Stephen, Jamie, thank you guys so much for coming down.
Thank you for having us, man.
No worries. And thank you guys for listening to the special edition of the Monday Morning Podcast. I'll talk to you guys again soon. I don't know when we're going to put this up. All right. See you.